What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Sparza, coming to you with another great installment of the Grappling Hour, and I am excited to talk to you guys today. We're on a little bit of a time crunch, so we got to do this one kind of quick. I got to go teach class here in a minute, but I think that's a perfect amount of time to talk about an episode that was approximately, 22 minutes? But when I watch these things and I write these jokes and I do all this sort of stuff, it kind of gets carried over to almost an hour long of watching. And I have to tell you, that's far too much for this show. Nonetheless, I do it so that you don't have to. So if you're in the comment section, let me know. Like, a comment, a subscribe would be great and much appreciated wherever you're watching. But there's so much business to get to that I'm excited to get straight to the board and start getting right away to some of the things that we observed on this episode of the show. I think we should start right off top by saying this. Do you ever notice that the weirdest part of this bowl is that no matter how much they're describing the grudge match or how exciting this match is going to be, every one of the matches for this format starts off with wee. Like, everybody prepares like they're gonna go down a slide. And I'm not saying it takes you out of the world completely, but it does change the atmosphere of how crazy the match is going to be when it looks like you're going down a playground slide. Perhaps that is just me. And also, speaking of just me, I want to put this out there. I'm not sure that Andy Varela can beat the "I'm a nerd" accusations. Case in point, look at this man. This dude tries to pull off a Mystique, I'm better than you jokes on his Instagram stories, like you nerds who wear spats, trying to get under your skin, but look at this dude cheesing it. Yeah, he's not beating those accusations. That's a nerd right there. Look at him. I think that is the biggest smile I have ever seen on his face, so we will not let him live it down. I promise you that. Varela knows his time is cooked, so we will be roasting him appropriately. Speaking of roasting, tomorrow we're actually doing a roast of Kevin Sherrill, one of the co-hosts on the Bullpen, so be sure to tune in for that. That is happening at 2 p.m. Best Coast time and 5 p.m. Eastern, so be there for that. Nonetheless, there was this weird moment that I noticed when I was watching the opening credits of the UFC BJJ Road to the Title Episode 4, which is that they have this generic music cue that just says, "Wild Style," like it's a producer ID. It caught me off guard, and I didn't know what we needed to do with that one. So for me, it was a lot to take in. I want to point this out. Raghib, are you need? Well, you did put a amendment to that, which was, are you nerd? Sure, I guess you could call me a nerd just because I wear glasses. But, you know, standing right next to my boy Andy Varela, you would think that's the dude with more charisma. I don't know. I've seen him not be a good interviewer. I've seen him struggle to keep up the mystique, the persona. So I don't know. And before I go any further, Charles or Ilya, my heart always goes with Charles, but I mean, I'm betting on Ilya Tapur. Like, that dude is the man right now, and I'm glad to be watching him in all of his glory. Let's get back to the topic at hand. All of you guys who come in for UFC BJJ, you want to talk about who's fighting this weekend, and that highlights a fundamental problem with our show when we're trying to get that over. Like, we're trying to talk to you guys about an interesting thing that we all like, and y'all just are like, that's cool, but scooting. But who's winning in the main event this weekend? Nonetheless, thank you for your question. But yeah, I don't love this Wild Style ID that they keep throwing up here. I think it's so weird. It's like out of like Wild Side. Like, what a weird music cue to hit as we're doing this. But I digress. Maybe, again, could just be me. It's at this point, if you have not been introduced to him before, you get your first opportunity to see Gianni Grippo, seen here looking like he's been struggling as the chef of an Italian beef shop in Chicago. Let it be known that normally Gianni hates Keith and Josh, but now that they're all same team together, it is super cool. It's not. And not that dude. Like, look at his eyes. His eyes is like, yeah, it's cool. We're on the same team. His eyes tell you a different story. His eyes are telling you 100% cool. What I can tell you, though, is I kind of figured out what their medallions are. I don't know if you've noticed this, but they have these little necklace things that they all are forced to wear like they're on some sort of surf beach together. And you don't see them without it too often on the show when they're not grappling, but they wear these things. And I figured out what they're for. I believe it's so that they can summon a power Zord. They're their power coins. So I think that's what you've been seeing a lot in this show. I mean, I know now I won't necessarily beat the nerd sort of accusations here, but I will tell you this. I don't know that I'm any less of a nerd than the dude who be smiling like this on the show. Just saying. Look at that. Look at that. That dude collects Pokemon, puts them in collector sheets at night with his cats 100%. Just letting you know that. Nonetheless, we're kind of excited on this one, but there is one moment before they get to the real business, which is that it turns out that Gianni loves going rock climbing. And it's ironic because when you're rock climbing, you better have a good grippo, is what he said. Don't blame me. That's his joke. He literally did a pun on this name of his in terms of his rock climbing. And I got to tell you, man, listen, I know my half guard sucks, but that line delivery, my half guard looked a lot better. I'll just say that. I think that was a rough one. That was an open mic night sort of opportunity that we saw there. So yeah. So you put this up there. This is a good observation. Those weren't microphones that they were wearing. I mean, I don't know. You would think maybe if that's the case, the microphone is kind of an inventive little thing that they could be putting on. I'm just so used to everybody else's microphone looking like some other thing. But the only problem with that is when you put it around them, I guess it's when they don't like have a shirt or a rash guard. It's hard to bunch up on something. Maybe it is, Brian. I don't know. I didn't really think of that. I just know it looks really weird. And like, we already have some weird shit in jiu-jitsu that we have to deal with, but it falls right in line with being like hookah shells and going out and hanging 10. So yeah, it's not going to pass that from me. Also, that's what a shotgun mic is for. Like, literally put that down. Like, most of the times they're wearing it, they're just doing testimonials. So, literally this. Just get the microphone, do that, have someone hold. Oh, you know what? We can't afford it. That's right. And I know that because the next place we go is to bowling. Hey, it's looking like it's going to be kind of like a team bonding thing. Get this. Mikey and Harrison are each given $500 each to wager on bowling. The equivalent of winning an 8-man BJJ tournament in Fresno. So why is this weird? Like, you would think giving them a little bit of money creates, as Keith Krikorian says, some kind of incentive here. Having said that, hey guys, we're going to invest $8 to $12 million in jiu-jitsu. But anyway, here's $20 if you get a strike. Where is this money going? Like, what's happening right now? When I see this, I'm legitimately stumped as to what is happening in the UFC. $8 to $12 million. Here's $500. If you break that down, there's 16 cast members, 2 coaches. What? I remember when Dana White used to bring a wad of cash and would put it in UFC fighters' faces. Dana White's own gambling debts are worse than this little itty bitty. Like, what? Who holds money like this still? We can't get over this. Look at this. Nobody holds money like this, let alone $500, just 20s of those. It's a lot to take in, guys. So I'm doing my best here. But nonetheless, I thought it's just kind of weird that we're bragging about it. And again, the hard part for me is Mikey makes this observation that he's all in, like 0 or 100%. So let me give you the example that he gives us here. His observation is that he either hits all the pins or none of the pins. like literally every other person who bowls. That's kind of the whole object of the game. But to Mikey, this is a new experience, I think. Well, actually, for one person, it's for sure a new experience. Harrison mentions this is the first time he's ever bowled. Yesterday, he mentioned it was his first taco he had ever had. Can I just say this, Harrison? I think you need some friends, bro. Like, on my watch, you saying that you've never had a taco before is some blasphemy, and I actually feel really bad for you. On the other hand, how have you gone this far without a taco? Bowling, I can kind of understand. That's something that we kind of do to pass the times here. And a lot of times you're drinking if you're bowling. Maybe you didn't do a bowling league. You were busy being good at jiu-jitsu. Just like, take some time for yourself, brother. That's what I'm kind of pushing here. But there's that. And I want to acknowledge one person here. There was only one person who was adequately dressed for the occasion, and that was Aaron Wilson. And it might be the fact that he is a dad. It might be the fact that this is kind of normal apparel for him, but he fit right in at a bowling alley. So I have to give him props for what he was doing. The other thing I want to go back to here while we're still on the Mikey tangent, look at his posture. I worry about this dude because he's essentially doing a duck walk when he finishes bowling. Now, nobody looks good when they bowl and they throw the ball. I get that part. But it's literally as he does the throw, he's still in this kind of tucked stance where his butt is all the way out. And I'm thinking, Mikey, are you trying to keep the level? Like, this isn't wrestling, bro. This is bowling. Just literally, you can posture all the way up, bro. Like, Mikey might actually be 6 feet tall, but just because of his posture, probably clocks in at about 5'4", 5'6". I don't know how tall he is. I've seen him in person a couple times, and we very quickly have chatted. But nonetheless, just look at this. His posture fucking kills me, especially doing bowling, because then I get concerned, like, hey, bro, I don't want you to take any damage. I hope we can keep you in jiu-jitsu for a long time. I also have one big gripe that I really want to make sure we air here. How the fuck am I supposed to know what kind of score these guys are getting if they're blurring it out like this? Like, this is some bullshit. Because I was trying to figure out there who really can actually bowl well. And from this is some BS. I'm trying to see if I can score better than Nathan Haddad on one of these bowling lanes. So don't blur this shit out. It's a good question. Did they go bowling at Kingsway? Oh, man. Yeah, that name. Oh, boy. It'll only be a complete joke if they rename the street Kingsway a little bit later, which in Texas doesn't take much to do since most of their laws are just kind of like Cracker Jack sort of gifts that you can get in there. So, yeah, I think it's possible that they can do it. Plus, Gordon's with all the corrupt politicians now, so it is just a matter of time. There is that. Nonetheless, let's talk about this hold of money. We talked about it before because Mikey was 100% holding it like this, which I guess is still kind of holding something like this. That's not my beef. I think Mikey ends up winning this competition for the money. But the issue is, who keeps their cash out like this all day long? I have a feeling the producer said, keep the cash out because it's a bragging rights sort of thing. But like, Mikey does not strike me as somebody who has money in his money clip. So the way he's doing it is like an alien being given money for the first time and saying, like, this is currency. This is why you can buy and sell goods with this stuff. And he's just like, cool. So I hold it like this, and they go, you know what? Do what you want, kid. Whatever makes you happy. It's at this point we meet Carlos Henrique, and this bodes well for me here because Carlos Henrique actually blurs out the faces of his competitors. Now, I know this is a big thing that they do in TV. We do it all the time, but I actually put this in context for jiu-jitsu where I said, oh shit, this bodes well for me. If any old people end up being on this show and have beaten me, they will not get my permission to have it go on TV. I will 100% be like, blur my face. I never competed against you. The tough part is the blur on this giant head. You'll probably put one and one together. So Just saying, it's a little tough here for your boy. But nonetheless, on the podium picture, we learned a little bit about Carlos Henriquez, mainly the fact that, yes, he is expecting. He's going to be a father here soon. And I'm super stoked to hear that because, listen, one thing about learning this whole process is that, yes, you're starting to get to know these guys, but a new father is a pretty compelling sort of argument. Like, it makes you think, I kind of root for this guy. And we did find out that, yes, in yesterday's episode, he is actually a brother-in-law to Cowboy Jared Leto. So that in itself was pretty cool. I did have a sort of a gripe, or at least a big question mark, which is I'm concerned about Nolf here. Why is Nolf chewing on his rash guard like this? I'm not even talking about the back take here. I think the back take is kind of expected when he's a little bit more of a novice in our world. But like, bro, first, gross. Second of all, I don't think in the transition, Enriquez was doing that to you. I think that started, even if it gets here, just good chin defense will help you get this. Like, bro, it won't even stay on me because literally I don't let it stay. This was like an active underneath. And I just thought that's impressive because he wanted it to be in that position. And I guess the question is, why are you doing that, sir? Who's letting him do this? And when he's stuck in that position, you get photos like this where I say, well, I got to snap that one because that looks like something one of my white belts would do. Now, granted, very accomplished wrestler. Won't take that away from you. Maybe you're just used to the singlet a little bit more, but this was prime LOLs for all of us in the jiu-jitsu world. Hey, look, it's Weigh-In Dude. He's one of my favorite people. I love Weigh-In Dude. Weigh-In Dude today came in knowing, like, yeah, I knew you guys wanted to see me. I'm the real secret star of this show. Like, just watch the way he enters the scene. Dude is coming in with swag. By far, aside from Cowboy Jared Leto's dog, probably my number 2 favorite cast member of the show. Also, if you're going to talk and have any talking heads or any kind of promotion for the fights that are coming up or the matches that are coming up, I think it should be a requirement that you get Keith Krikorian to tell you how excited he is for any of these matches. I thought one of the most false statements that Isaac Doderlein said was that he's never seen somebody like me. And I guarantee you, Keith is such a nerd for this world. He has studied every one of these guys. So when he tells you he's genuinely excited for Enriquez versus Grippo, that is the reason why. Like, that dude studies and really, really does his homework on everybody else's game. So him, as you're talking ahead here, A+. But don't give me anybody else. I don't care what anybody else thinks. Give me Keith, because at least Keith is going to tell you why it's a great match. Most people, when they get this spot, just go, wow, this match is going to be fire. Because it's like they're both good guys. What about them is good? You know, I mean, this dude, he's a savage. Keith, tell us why you like it. Okay, so my favorite thing here, Mr. Esparza, is the fact that one of these guys, I mean, if you really look at it, he's like really good with his half guard. And then there's going to be a half guard, top guard battle. And I really like that because both the guys, I mean, they're both really good. And I really think it's going to be a good match. And I can't wait to see it. Like, that's the passion you want. Some of you, I realize, have never seen me do a Keith Krikorian impression. It's not bad. But I know it's true because he is family to us here. So we can do that about him. I'd like to also end this practice, which is mostly that we pat people on the back when they take a posed photo. Now, I get we could be giving them acknowledgement for making weight, but really, they make the weight, they stand off in front of each other, they stare at each other like this, and then this happens in MMA too, but they go, good job, guys. No, I mean, you didn't do much. This is the participation award of comments to say, you took a photo and you made weight. making weight is 50% of your job. So I don't think we have to necessarily say good job to them, because really the other part is them just taking a photo, which I think most people should be able to do. Like, you don't even have to pose for the photo. You're literally just staring at the other person, trying to put daggers through their eyes. Very rarely should you ever use the phrase, good job, you guys, when people just do nothing but take a photo. This is one thing that has become a recurring problem on the show. We saw it in like the first episode of it, and we once again go back to Mikey Musumeci's words of encouragement, which are just some cliche Nike slogans, where he says, if you want it, you just have to take it. Good coaching. I would love to bypass this part because he's doing it again. And in this particular case, it's wild to me that these are the last things that we're saying to people, because I don't think if they win or lose, it's just because you heard the phraseology, if you want to win, you just have to take it. Like, that doesn't inspire me. Maybe it inspires other people. Hard to say. Not there in the moment. Could be cut from some other eloquent, great things that he's coaching with. But that in itself, womp womp, don't love it. So I would love it if we could just cut that part. Just move on. Because again, if you notice, we're starting to trim a lot of this shit and just get straight to the meat and potatoes. I had one friend who said, I just jumped to the end on both of the last 2 episodes to watch the match. And I thought, what a smart idea. Like, legitimately, it made me think, why am I doing this? I should just do that too. I digress. We get not only Mikey being a coach, but I have to tell you, when he's actually coaching on the sidelines in Portuguese, I actually kind of liked it. It was less annoying than when he was speaking in English. So I was pretty happy about that. What's also kind of weird in this thing is that it's kind of awkward in that we did find out that Carlos is family to a member that is on the green team. So Cowboy Jared Leto gets to actually coach Enriquez despite Grippo being on his same team. Very awkward, and I don't know how Gianni felt about that when he's only just come to terms with Josh and Keith being on his team. But I think it's hard to fault somebody when they are family in that way. Just from a visual standpoint, I noticed they made him take off his rash guard and he couldn't be in get up because it would be weird to have a blue team member wearing a rash guard next to him. What are you going to do? The match in itself was interesting. Decent first round. I did notice, though, that I want to point this out. This coach's picture-in-picture thing. I like this a lot better. I know we talk a lot of shit about the Ultimate Fighter format, but this is something that I do appreciate is they just slide in a picture-in-picture and then slide it back out. That way you're not taking away from the action. I can give them credit in that way for the Ultimate Fighter format for our world, because I hate when you would cut away from the action. And sometimes it's an editing trick where they would do it to make up for lost time, or they have to cut down on the match. So I didn't necessarily, raise a big stink about it. But like, you watch the match because you want to see the match. And we just so happened to have this one end in 2 rounds. But the first round, Grippo was going hunting, and I had to give him credit. Like, he was pushing that action. It's reminiscent of the Gianni Grippo that we've seen in the past. But I did notice the momentum was starting to shift over to Enriquez toward that buzzer. And I do want to make sure that as we're saying this, I do want to take back the Mikey was less annoying, because in the middle of round 2, when he just started yelling out Boa, I go, yeah, now it's back to annoying. It's going so well there. But hear him just yell out, Boa, Boa. And I was like, oh, God, no. How about Noah? No more of that, please. I think one thing that is interesting in this particular case, though, is we did actually get a finish. And did you guys actually see that submission? Okay, good. Because if you did, that referee sure as hell didn't. Take a look at this, because right now he doesn't have a good angle on it. But Gianni was tapping, and it's the kind of thing that you wonder if it's going to be constituted as a Brazilian tap, but they did move on for it. Nobody contested it. It was fine. But there was a moment where I was just like, dude, they're not seeing this. And everybody did what they were supposed to do. And in that moment, you did see a hand raise for the newly expected father of Carlos Henriquez. And that I was very happy to see. And that is a huge win because Gianni is a monster. So that, to me, bodes very well for how he can maybe perform in the next couple episodes. And I also want to keep track for those of you who are keeping score at home. That's a big 0-2 for your friends yelling out, he's exhausted, he's tired, because they did that again with Gianni, saying that in regards to Carlos. And that was not the case, especially at the end of that first round. I was like, I thought Carlos was coming alive more. He was definitely starting to push that pace, and that was very easily proven a few seconds later. I don't know how psychologically that works, if they're really just trying to inspire their guy and be like, nah, man, you just got to stay positive and keep doing it. But to me, do you know how pissed I would be if they still submitted? Be like, yo, bro, I thought he was tired. You guys were telling me he was tired. He wasn't tired of shit. He still caught me with his Dars. That shit sucked. In any event, tomorrow promises drama because we get 2 matches. And it looks like there is going to be a drastic weight cut, Isaac. And not only does he have problems with the weight cut, but they're seeming to signal that there could be a potential he can't go forward sort of storyline. This could be a swerve. So he could be just fine and he ends up coming back again and doing it. But I got to tell you, I mean, there is a part of me that was just hoping, just a little sincerely hoping here, that you would see Keith Krikorian make his way back in, because that would be a rematch, to my knowledge. Well, not rematch, actually, but yeah, it would be, I think it's on that one, if Carlos Henriquez fast-forwarded, it could be that you see Keith against Carlos, if memory serves me right, although I could be wrong here, so please tell me if I'm wrong. And then additionally, tomorrow you'd get to see Elijah Carlton versus Jason Nolf. Now, you have to figure in this format, the advantage has to go to Elijah, but you know, these are big moments, and Jason Nolf is a person who's been on big stages before. So even though he may not necessarily have a submission game, he could really put that pace on Elijah. So I guess we'll have to find that out tomorrow. But that's it. Those are my notes for today, you guys. I wanted to keep this one, I mean, it's not brief, but I mean, at least a little more brief than the last episode. But while I do have to get going to go coach my kids over at Milton Arguello's Mixed Martial Arts Academy, MAMA, over in Woodland Hills, come through if you ever want to train. I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will likely do another one of these. I don't know exactly when it's going to be, because tomorrow I go straight into prep for the roast for Kevin Sherrill. That is happening 2 p.m. Best Coast time, 5 p.m. East Coast. So tune into that. We have some friends on the dais that are going to be making jokes about our dear beloved Kevin Sherrill, who's not dead, but I do think I use that language because he is dead to me. He has not been on the show for a while. He has been on hiatus. But nonetheless, tune into that. And then I guess we'll make an announcement if we do one of these tomorrow at what time we're doing. They're doing a doubleheader, so there's going to be lots to talk about. And it just matters on how quickly I can turn that around. If you like these shows, do me a solid. Give us a like, a comment, and a subscribe wherever it is you're watching. We will make more of these in the future. We wanted to show out for UFC BJJ, and I hope that you guys are enjoying these. I've heard some very nice things from a lot of our friends, but nonetheless, ladies and gents, I think that's going to do it for us here on the show today. Last reminder, go to patreon.com/grappling hour if you like the show and you want to hang out and see our videos 30 days before anybody else. We have tons of content going up right now. A shit ton of interviews from the upcoming season of the PGF. We're getting to know almost all the competitors as we get ready for the draft that's taking place next Wednesday out live in Las Vegas, and your boy's going to be there, so get excited for that. All right, friends, that's going to do it for us here at the Grappling Hour. Thank you so much.